Welcome everybody, my name is Michael and today we're discussing about President Trump announcing at a Nashville Bitcoin conference a couple things. One of the most interesting though was regarding DPR, Dread Pirate Roberts, Mr. Ross Ulbricht, who was sentenced in 2015. This is the founder and operator of the Silk Road, the initial one. And this was a darknet marketplace that operated for a 2-year period from 2013 to 2015. Ross Ulbricht managed to create a multi-million-dollar darknet empire, one of the largest and one of the most original names that a lot of us grew. When we were learning about cryptocurrency, we also learned about this too, and we were shocked to learn that a non-violent offender, although there's some controversy regarding that because he was nonviolent, but there were some plans. Now, technically, for those plans, he was duped into a fake police officer. It was a sting, but whatever. Anyway, so he did not hurt anybody previously. He did not have any previous charges. This was somebody who mainly was charged for running a marketplace, is serving 2 life sentences plus 40 years without parole. That's it. There's no options. He is stuck there. It's a life sentence for sure. And when you compare that to the European situation, for example, Hansa Marketplace, you have, so for those who are watching Avi, there's a lot of these interesting little tidbits of info. You had the Hansa Marketplace operators. Basically, there was multiple marketplace vendors and operators who were arrested, whether it was in Germany, whether it was in Amsterdam, whether it was in Norway. There was a couple of these operators and vendors who have done, I would say, arguably similar charges, similar things that Ross Ulbricht was charged for, or in some cases actually even more, because then a couple of years later in 2017, 2018, during that major honeypot operation during the summer of 2017, you had larger marketplaces than the Silk Road. You had Silk Road 2, and then later you had Silk Road 3, and you had Alphabet, and you had Hansa, and you had so many others, Dream, that came up later. And some of these European operators, as long as they were European citizens, they remained in their countries, they were sentenced there, and they would receive less than 10 years. Some of them in Germany or in Norway or in the Netherlands actually would receive much preferential treatment because not only would their sentencing be a lot less, 5 years, 7 years, maybe even less with good behavior, they would go to prisons where you would rather be in a European prison, not all European, but the German prison system isn't bad at all. There's some really cozy prisons compared to American prison system, especially a federal max penitentiary or something crazy, right? So the whole situation is very interesting. And when Trump was president, a lot of people are saying, well, why didn't he commute Ross Ulbricht then? There were some talks towards the very end of his presidency. I do remember this. And I thought that was interesting. There was a chance his family was reaching out to the president, hey, can this happen? And it's not like Trump sat around and did absolutely nothing. We don't know exactly what his thoughts were back then. Now, he did just get sentenced in 2015, but President Trump said right now, for when he does get reelected, that'll be one of his first issues. He would commute his sentencing. He would basically come out of prison. He would have had time served. Now, a fair amount of time has been served, 9-10 years, but with that, he at least would have a new lease on life. With that as well, Mr. President Trump, in January 2021, before everything ended, he did grant clemency to 243 individuals. So he pardoned 73, and one of those was the Ripple board member, Ken Kersen. He commuted the sentence of 70 others. He did not offer clemency to Ulbricht, of course, and WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange or Edward Snowden. Now, those two, I would say, arguably are way more controversial than Ross Ulbricht. All three are, but those two, I really doubt would ever get pardoned for a variety of political reasons. But regardless, these were released details about not only that, but at the same conference, President Biden did announce that current President Joe Biden, he would stop Biden's crusade to crush crypto. We're going to stop it. I will ensure that the future of crypto and the future of Bitcoin will be made in the USA, not driven overseas. I will support the right to self-custody. A lot of people are cheering to this. To the nation's 50 million crypto holders, I say this: I will keep Elizabeth Warren and her goons away from your Bitcoin. And she certainly had a fair amount of interesting comments about it. I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency. And he's warmed up a lot to cryptocurrency over these past couple months. He actually launched his own NFTs recently, just now at this Bitcoin convention in Nashville. He launched his own sneakers regarding cryptocurrency, and they were selling for like $4.99, and now they're reselling for like $1,000. Anytime he launches these sneakers, previously he had a bunch of other sneakers, they're usually great resells. He had these little cards for NFTs, sold out, made millions of dollars for his political campaign, which is very cool. And obviously he's warmed up to that. He said he received over $25 million in Bitcoin and other altcoin cryptocurrency donations. He's obviously had billionaire friends and multimillionaire friends who are big into cryptocurrency, and he's probably listened to some very smart people, and he's realized, you know what, this is actually pretty interesting. He's not going to sit there and dismiss all of this. So it's very interesting. He made several pro-cryptocurrency comments over these past couple of months, and he's become the first major party candidate to accept political cryptocurrency donations. Now you have RFK, where RFK is even more gung-ho about cryptocurrency, but in that regards, he's not a major party candidate. Much smaller chances of him ever becoming a presidential candidate. But it's always good for a presidential candidate of any kind, or a senator, or any big politician, especially if you're from a famous family, to say positive things about cryptocurrency, because there's a lot of media attention. RFK backs a Bitcoin reserve. Trump's not going to go that far, but just the fact that he is generally positive about cryptocurrency is very good, especially considering that what we've got going on right now, politics aside, we have to look at what happened to cryptocurrency over these past couple of years, and also the economy and other things. But who is currently in power? Trump said he would get Gary Gensler out of power. Now, technically, Gary Gensler is in his position for a couple more years until 2026, but I'm sure Trump would want somebody else behind the SEC. So altogether, very interesting stuff. If you vote for me on day one, I will commute the sentence of Ross Ulbricht to a sentence of time served. He's already served 11 years. We're going to get him home. I'm very positive and open-minded to cryptocurrency companies and all things related to this new and burgeoning industry. Our country must be the leader in the field. There is no second place. And he wrote that President Joe Biden wants the cryptocurrency industry to die a slow and painful death. That will never happen with me. So regardless of what has happened in cryptocurrency and what has not, we do know that any positive news will help us, especially if we're going into a bull run right now. So instead of Trump going down the path of RFK, he did pledge that simply maintaining the current level of Bitcoin holdings that the U.S. has already amassed from seizing assets from darknet markets and other financial criminals, the U.S. is not going to sell anymore under his election, which is interesting because the U.S. has already sold hundreds of billions, I think even billions of dollars worth of cryptocurrency. But it's interesting because at that point, if they were like a certain South American country right now that has over 200 crypto ATMs that we've heard in the news, this would help America if Bitcoin were to go up and they had Bitcoin reserves that were, say, $1 billion, or even just the current supply, right? Bitcoin holdings, I don't know how much they have. And they were able to hold on to that for, let's say, a decade or 2 decades. And that rose drastically. It went 4x, 5x, 10x. Who knows what will happen in that time frame. That'd be crazy. RFK Jr. had a proposal where he wants a 4 million Bitcoin strategic reserve. The government would be purchasing 500 Bitcoin daily for the next couple of years, which is interesting. This would create so much attention in the cryptocurrency markets if the government just kept pumping in money. It'd be very interesting to see. One thing is purchasing such giant amounts of Bitcoin, you are certainly going to manipulate the prices, that's for sure. When there's these huge government sell-offs, such as with the Saxony government recently, over $2 billion of seized cryptocurrency holdings, or right now the U.S. Marshals Service is regularly auctioning off Bitcoin as well as Ethereum, Litecoin, and others that they seized, whether it's tax crime, whether it's darknet markets, whether it was a criminal organization that just so happened to have cryptocurrency, or they were money laundering. These are all things that are taken into account. Now, here's the thing. A president ultimately can't just launch a Bitcoin reserve by themselves. They need to get approval. It's the separation of powers. He would need new legislation. He would need a congressional approval to push this through. Some lawmakers have, cryptocurrency holdings. Some lawmakers are very gung-ho on cryptocurrency, but not all of them. You have to remember most of the White House is, old, and a lot of these guys believe in stocks. Oh, they sure do. Just ask Nancy Pelosi, best stock trader in the world right there. But cryptocurrency, they're still warming up to that idea. So ultimately, very interesting that Trump had a little rally at a Bitcoin conference when he said on his first day he'll fire Gary Gensler. People were cheering, woohoo! He's like, I didn't know he was that unpopular. Trump said also he will appoint a Bitcoin and crypto advisory council upon taking office. He's a man of the crypto people. Trump did name check a couple people who were in attendance. This was Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss. These are the founders of the Gemini cryptocurrency exchange. You had MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor being name checked. So there's a couple of event organizers. Trump did thank the Nashville committee for that. There was over 20,000 people in attendance, and a lot of people are looking at the two candidates right now, which has supported crypto, which has said positive things about cryptocurrency. While all politics aside, it doesn't seem like Vice President currently, Kamala Harris, and potentially presidential candidate Kamala Harris has said anything relatively positive towards cryptocurrency. We don't know exactly what her plan would be regarding that. But what we do know is that current President Biden did say at one point he called Trump NFT buyers and supporters suckers. This did upset a lot of people where, Gensler was appointed by Biden, and there have been some strict regulations regarding cryptocurrency these past couple of years, and then being called a sucker. Well, you can imagine what people are thinking. Even if there was somebody who said one positive thing about cryptocurrency from that side, it's already kind of tainted your image. But anyways, that is that. Thanks for watching, and we shall see you guys in the next one. Take care. Oh, the camera. I'm recording from my phone, so that's why it always looks weird, because the camera's literally there, but the phone, anyways, thanks for watching.